Welcome to the Longest Take podcast. Thank you for tuning in to the Longest Take podcast. In today's episode, we are joined by Tiffany Abney. Tiffany Abney is a immensely talented stunt performer who has been in films such as James Wan's *Malignant*, Jordan Peele's *Nope*, and even the most recent Fast and the Furious movie, Fast X. But outside of all the stunt performing, she has recently grown into the role as writer and director with her new film, Jewels, which is a short that is currently making its round in the festival circuit. Welcome, Tiffany, to today's episode. So, first things first, what are your top 5 favorite movies?
Oh, yikes. Okay, so I would say number one, and they're all older movies. I would say the number one is The Long Kiss Goodnight. I would say number 2 is Double Jeopardy. I would say number 3 is Kiss the Girls. So it's giving action and dark, really dark. Let's see. You know what else I like? I like The Butterfly Effect. And I have to say, you know what? Let's do Nope for number 5.
You know, that's so funny. Nope is in my top 5 as well. Like on my Letterboxd top 4, I've got Nope in there. Yeah, nice. That's and I don't hear it a lot.
Nope is a great film.
Yeah.
And I'm not just saying it because I worked on it.
Right. Oh, yeah, of course. But I mean, there's a cool motorcycle sequence, so I know that, you know, that's cool. And Double Jeopardy, is that the one with Ashley Judd?
Yes.
Okay. You know what? I need to, you know, catch up on those movies you mentioned, because I'm familiar with the names of them, and if I have seen them, long time ago.
So long ago. I mean, same with me, but they've stuck with me throughout my life. I feel like I should go revisit them and see if I still feel the same way about them, but I mean, I feel like I will.
Yeah. Hell yeah. Yeah, I'm so happy you said Nope. Every time I hear that one, I'm just like, that's like our modern day Jaws. You know what I mean? Like
I mean, like, and if you've heard anything about the film and how he created it and you know, with the all the intentions that he had for the film, all of the different motifs, and you know, even the things of him, the night scenes, and how they did the night scenes on that film, because it wasn't really dark outside. Like, they shot it in the daylight. And so that whole process of how they figured out some new technology and things, and how they figured out how to do that was really cool. So, you know, as somebody who is, I've always been on the side of film, I think, as a consumer and just like watching it. But now that I have my own projects, I've been very interested in like what goes into other people's projects. And so it's like opened up a whole new world for me of being able to just enjoy cinema in a different plane.
Yeah, absolutely. It gives you that perspective to like really understand the craft, and like just, you know, it builds that appreciation for it. And speaking of which, so at least in my experience, there haven't been that many dirt bike centric movies. So you have Supercross from 2004, Motocrossed from, I think, early 2000s, probably around the same time, and sequences in movies such as like Eight-Legged Freaks. They've got a few dirt bike scenes there. So what inspired you to kind of go in this direction for your short, Jewels?
Sure. So a little bit of background about myself. I'm a professional stunt woman. I've been doing stunts for about 12 years now. I've doubled a lot of your favorite actresses. I've been in a lot of different films, TV shows, commercials. I did do some of the bike work for Keke Palmer in Nope. Fun fact, I was 5.5 months pregnant when I did the bike work. Yeah. So I decided to create a project myself because, you know, in my mind, I'm like, oh, I've never gone to film school. And I'm like, I've been on 75 million different sets. Like I can do this. What, this isn't a hard thing to do.
Right.
When you get on the other side, you see that it is absolutely a very, very, very challenging thing to do. So I took on a lot with very little information and just feeling like, I've been on enough sets to be able to get myself through this. And I had to call on a lot of friends for guidance. I had to call on a lot of friends who've done this already, what I'm attempting to do, for moral support, to talk me off the ledge, different things, because it got very, very difficult for me, that process. And I decided that I wanted to do it first and foremost because it was just something that I personally wanted to see that I had never seen before. I had never seen a Black girl riding motocross, and I hardly ever see films with women on motorcycles, not just motocross, but on motorcycles in general. So I personally love motorcycles. I got into riding. I started riding, I want to say like 7 or 8 years ago, and I fell in love with it. So yeah, it was something that I wanted to see. And it was also very personal to me because as I double all of these actresses, I feel like I do a lot of training, a lot of different types of training, whether it's motorcycle work or training cars or training fights or wire work, all of these things that I do. I personally feel like I probably use, I don't know, 15-20% of my training, which is like, I feel like every stunt person is always like, okay, when I get in there, I'm going to go hard and I'm going to do this thing. And it could be like, literally, they just need you to fall. And you're like, all right, let me, because you've done all of this training. So in your mind, it's like, okay, how can I use my training, like my martial arts training, to like help me fall in this moment? And I feel like a lot of stuff, people are like that. And I feel like a lot of directors are like, sir, I just need you to fall. Like, I don't need you to do a backflip and all this other crazy stuff. But for us, I feel like a lot of times we're just like, we train so much and so hard that we want to showcase what we can do. Thank God Instagram and Facebook and TikTok came around, because now we can do it for ourselves on social media. Yeah. But yeah, it was a bit of that too, a bit of me just feeling like I do all this training and I wish I was able to go on set and really show people what I can do. So I created this project, Jules, about a woman who is in a relationship with an ex-motocross racer. He gets very badly injured in the race and has forbidden her to race. And she's like, nah, bruh, I'm going to do me. And they get into it pretty badly. And it's set in the world of motocross. So yeah, that's why I decided to do the project. And funny enough, I probably did 2% of her riding. As much as I wanted to go and do a lot of her writing, the truth of the matter is I wanted to direct the project, and I needed to focus on directing and producing and all the other things that I needed to do. And I have stunt friends who have ridden bikes all their lives and who trick ride and do motocross, who are way, way more skilled than me. So I said, I'm going to let you guys do that, and I'm going to be over here directing. And the project, it's beautiful. I love it. I'm very happy with the result of the project.
Yeah, that's amazing, and I can't wait to have the chance to see it. Is there a chance that it's going to be coming to the Chicago area anytime soon? Or even online? I don't know, because I'm definitely looking forward to it.
So online, I'm debating, right? Because I'm in the festival circuit right now, and a lot of the festivals are like, you can't have it online if it's going to be in our festival. So I haven't put it online yet, but I'm going to do these festivals. I actually submitted to a festival in Chicago, so we'll see what happens. Yeah, my lead actress, Renelle, is from Chicago. So I was like, let me submit to Chicago. Hopefully we can get in. But yeah, I can't put it online just yet. I'm debating on whether or not I will end up putting it online. I kind of want to, but I also am not sure because I'm developing it as a feature right now.
Oh, awesome.
Yeah, so I'm developing it as a feature, and I'm like, oh, do I put it online? I don't know, because I feel like it would get a lot of attention. but I also don't want to. I also don't want to like give away the story by putting it
Right.
online, like, and like having people, kind of already feeling like, oh, I know what this film is about. So I don't know. I'm still debating on whether or not I want to do it. But there's a plus because the plus is it's going to get a lot of attention.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
yeah.
That's awesome. So you only started riding about 7 or 8 years ago, you said?
Yes.
So did you get into just like the sport in general, like even professional motocross during this time period? Were you into it beforehand at all?
So I had never been on a bike prior. My son's father he was a professional motocross racer a long, 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 long time ago. Um, but he still rides motocross and he's a stunt performer. So he's very active when it comes to bikes. We've got like 10 bikes in the garage that all get used, different trials bikes. We have moto bikes, we have supermoto bikes, electric bikes, all kinds of stuff, street bikes. So there's a lot of bikes around here. So we
Yeah.
ride pretty often. My son is 3 years old and he can ride his electric bike very well. He does burnouts and donuts at 3 years old on his electric bike. So we're like we're bike people. And I kind of got adopted into this bike world. So I didn't grow up watching motocross at all. I literally didn't start watching motocross until I started dating him. And he was always watching, like he would literally be like, "Oh, I gotta get back home so I can see the races." And I'm like, "What races?" He's like, "Motocross." I'm like, "Motocross." What? So he got me watching it, and I actually really like it. I don't watch it as often as I used to watch it now because I'm so busy. But yeah, that's how I initially got started riding.
That's really cool. Like I like what you said about, oh, I got to get home to watch the races. That's like my dad and my brother right now, because they've been religiously for over a decade. But back in like 2008, I was into it and I was watching it. We would drive out to Indianapolis or Detroit to see the Supercross races.
Wow.
It was when you had like Ricky Carmichael, Bubba Stewart, and Chad Reed going like back and forth. That was like peak. I loved that. But
yeah,
I've fallen off a little bit. But last year we went to Redbud, and the year before that, Joliet, Illinois, they did the Supercross race there. It was
nice.
it was like super motocross, they called it. I don't know, but yeah, I've always felt like it was always a very unique sport to watch.
Yes. Yes.
You know, and I used to ride way back in the day too. But it's also very physically demanding. So when you see people out there doing it, at least me, I really appreciate that physicality of it.
Yeah, so when I first started watching it, I hadn't started riding yet. So I was like, oh my gosh, this is so boring. I was like, I'm not really, because I mean, I think I grew up watching football, right? So football and motocross are completely different. So for me, I was like, oh my gosh, motocross is so boring. But when I started to ride, I was like, oh, this is a really dope sport. Like, this is so fun. So when I started to ride, as bad as I was, because I was just starting to learn, I really had a great appreciation for these guys who were doing these big jumps and like not killing themselves.
Yeah.
And and battling it out and how skilled they are. I realized like how much dedication it actually takes to be that great. Like you have to dedicate your whole life to it. And most of them started at a very young age, which really helps. But yeah, I grew a grand appreciation for motocross when I actually got on a bike on my first 250, and I was like, oh crap. Like I was so squirrely and like I'm falling off the bike and running into stuff. Like it was so bad. But I have a great appreciation for those guys.
And your kid's father, you said he was he professionally raced? Was that?
Yeah, he raced professionally, I don't know, 30 some years ago.
Oh, okay. So, like, what is that? The 90s? Back in the
Yeah, I
90s?
want to say he raced in the 90s.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it's been a while since
Yeah.
he but he can still listen. He still gets on these bikes and he goes and I'm like, I watch him and I'm like, bro, hey baby. I'm like, you need to slow down.
Yeah.
Because he goes over these big jumps and it's still like he's in his 20s and I'm like, bro, you're not in your 20s anymore.
Right.
But I once you ride, you just can't not ride. Say hi, Legend. This is my son, Legend.
Hi. Is that a
He's got
motocross jersey? Yeah.
Yeah,
That-
because we were outside riding earlier.
That's awesome.
He's got on his Alpine Stars. This was actually sponsored by Alpine Stars. Gave this to us.
Oh, cool. Yeah.
Mommy,
Yes, baby. Yes.
hug.
Okay. Thank you for the hug. But Mom's got to finish my interview. Okay.
Bye, Mom.
Are you doing good?
Yeah.
Okay. Awesome. I'll see you in a bit. Okay. Okay. Thanks for stopping by to say hi.
Oh, so cute.
Thanks.
But my grandpa, until he was like 70, maybe late 60s, he was still getting out there on his bike. Because he was doing it decades ago, never professionally, but he got me and my cousins all into it at some point when we were teenagers, and yeah, you never forget.
It's so much fun, and I just feel like they call it throttle therapy, right? Like
Yeah,
when you're stressed out, you get on a. I promise you, get on a bike and you start riding, and everything, all the stress is gone. It's
Right.
it's insane.
yeah. I love. I need to get back into it. I sold my bike years ago, but yeah, I gotta.
Why would you do that?
I never had time to do it, and a part of me wants to like get my son into it, but then the other part of me who's super anxious and like paranoid, I'm like, I don't want him on a bike, you know.
I feel you. I was
yeah.
just about to say, I was like, but you have a kid, you have to get a bike because you got to show him how to ride.
Yeah, I want to definitely take him to races though. I think he would definitely, he'd love seeing that. He loves watching it on the TV, so take him to the place and like have him in there, I think that would get his interest up.
Yeah, no, for sure.
So not too long ago, maybe a few weeks ago, it was announced that the Academy is going to recognize stunt work in 2027. So just basically like what, on one hand, what would you say like your favorite stunt in a project? Not one that you've been in, but just something you've seen. What your favorite is, and then also a stunt that you've done that you just really appreciate.
So I'll start with the stunt that I've done that I appreciate. I'm going to go back to Nope. And I'm going back to Nope because I was pregnant when I did that project, and it just, I think it just holds a really special place in my heart. So we shot it literally 5 minutes from my house, which was so nice to be able to just wake up and go straight to work and not have to sit in LA traffic for 30, 40, 50 minutes. That was so nice. And yeah, like I think being pregnant, I actually worked, I want to say when I was, up until I was 6.5, I think I stopped working at 6.5 months pregnant. But I worked more, I think, in that time than I had worked.
Wow.
Like the year prior, I feel like I worked more in that 6.5 months than I've worked the entire year prior, which is crazy. But yeah, I love that job, and I appreciate the fact that I was like, I can do this, and I knew I could do it, and I knew I'd be fine, and I knew I'd be safe, and I knew my child would be safe, and I did the job. And I think that's my favorite job because I had my baby with me, and I would put my hand on my stomach, and I'd be like, "Baby, are you okay in there?" And he literally like would kick or whatever he's doing in there, move around so I could feel. And he wouldn't do that until I put my hand on my stomach and started talking to him. So I remember putting my hand on my stomach and just saying, "Baby, are you okay in there? If you're not okay, like just like kick me real hard, not stop." So I think that's my favorite job thus far.
Did you do the Akira slide? So there's that sequence when she stops the bike. Were you able to do that, or was that?
No, so I didn't do that. What they ended up doing was they put Keke Palmer on the process trailer and they kind of just slid it. And to me, when you watch it, it looks like that's what it is. I mean, it looks good, but it does to me look like Kiki's on a process trailer and she just pulled. But yeah, so they ended up just doing it with her on the process trailer. I think it was a difficult maneuver on that bike because they had us on this gigantic, like it was so heavy. Like I remember being like, y'all, do we have to use this bike? It was an electric street bike that they had on the dirt. And I want to say, I'm trying to remember if there was knobbies in the tire. I want to say if there was, they weren't like motocross tires.
So it'd be going all crazy.
Yeah, I was flying around like crazy on that bike. That bike was very hard to ride in that dirt. And then I remember there being the follow cars, the camera car that was with me and trailing me and in front of me. And I remember when it was in front of me, it was kicking up so much dirt that I couldn't see anything. I literally couldn't see anything, and I was praying. I was like, "Oh Lord!" Thank God I had run it a few times. Like we ran it just so I could feel it out and see what it looked like, and make sure I was comfortable with the run that we did. So we ran it quite a bit of times. So I'm so thankful that we did because I kind of like remembered where I was. But when I tell you, I had so much dirt on me that when we stopped, my whole front was covered I was black. Like I was completely black. It was insane. I wish I would have taken pictures of it, but I didn't. But yeah, so I'm sorry, long story short, I did not do the Akira slide. That's something that they decided that they wanted to put Keke on the process trailer and have her do it.
Oh, okay. That makes sense. And I imagine, so Jordan Peele was rumored in the past to be to wanting to do a live action Akira movie, and I imagine that that's why he put that in there as like as homage to it. But still, that
yeah, because he literally said, like when the stunt coordinator was talking to me about it, he was like, "Okay, we need you to do an Akira slide." I was like, "I don't know what Akira is. Let me go Google it." So I Googled it, and I was like, "Oh, okay, I get it." Which I can do. Like I can do that because I do it on my dirt bikes all the time. But that street bike was so heavy. It was an electric street bike, and I was like, "Why are we using this bike?" Like I just didn't get it. But the coordinator was like, "They really want to use this bike," and I was like, "All right." That bike was so heavy that like, because I was practicing doing it, and then when I was practicing doing it, like as soon as I got a little bit sideways, that thing just wanted to go down. Yeah. I was like, this is a huge weight. So, and then also I was like, yeah, I'm not doing this because I'm pregnant. So I probably shouldn't be. Like the normal riding is one thing, but like trying to slide that bike, I was like, eh.
Yeah. Best case scenario was just doing the process trailer and just doing it that way. Sounds like physics and that bike didn't really mesh together. So
that bike. Yeah, that bike was very interesting.
Yeah, and then with your current project, so when it comes to stunts, kind of, you know, with the whole academy talk with stunts and everything, I guess it's hard. So when it comes to dirt biking, everything's a jump, right? Or every jump's a stunt in itself. But were there any particularly challenging stunts that you did with this?
Challenging. You know what? The most challenging. So I had the most professional stunt guys and stunt girls on my set. They made my life so much easier. Hey, baby, can you go in the other room, please? They made my life so much easier because this is my first time directing anything narrative and action. So I did first and second unit directing myself. So that was the hardest thing for me. The stunt stuff was so easy because those guys and those women are so professional. Shout out to the stunt department in my project, Jules, and shout out to the stunt coordinators who have been doing stunts and coordinating for a very, very long time. And they all my stunt coordinators Rex Reddick, Jay Lynch, and Cammy Bruder, and all three of them ride motocross. So it was a blessing to have them because they not only ride motocross, but they are behind the camera too, so they know what things are supposed to look like. So I can just be like, this is my vision. This is what I see. This is what I would like for my film. How do we do this? And so we would talk about it, and they, give their opinions and ways of best getting the result that I would like. And yeah, that to me was the hardest part. The stunts, easy. It was like the easiest thing out of everything. The stunts was the easiest thing.
Yeah, and it's great to have a team like that. I imagine you're gonna utilize that same team once you make the feature version of Jules, or at least you'll try to get the same folks on it.
For sure, yeah. Because I mean, there's people in the stunt business who ride like street bikes. There's a bunch of people who ride street bikes, but riding motocross is completely different, and especially for film, because I wanted to look, if I wanted the shot to look dangerous, it's got to look dangerous. I have to have people in there who know how to safely make something look very, very dangerous. I did have a crash in Jules, and it looks very dangerous, but it wasn't.
Yeah, good.
I mean, we did it in a way where everybody was safe. So, yeah, so you just have to have the right people to be able to do those special particular things, for sure.
Right. And I just thought of this question right now. At least in the short or in the feature. In the short or the feature, do you plan on like getting any cameos in there from any professional motocross riders?
In the feature, I do. Yes, absolutely. Yeah. The short was so like, my pre-production was like, I don't know, 2 months, I feel like, which is not a lot of time for pre-production, especially with what I wanted to do in my project. It's not a lot of time at all. So I didn't have a bunch of time to try to figure out the logistics of all of those things. But in the feature, absolutely. Yes. Do
you have anybody in mind that you want to say, or do you want to keep that like
I'm not saying nothing because I haven't reached out to anybody yet, so I don't even know who's going to like be down to do this and who's not. I have an idea of who probably will be down to do this, so I still have to reach out to those people. So I don't want to say any names just yet until people are confirmed.
Yeah, that's fair. So I got a list here. I'm just gonna read the list off, but you've got an incredible catalog of stunt work, most of which I had no idea. I thought you just did this dirt bike movie. I looked you up on IMDb. I'm like, wow, you got like all of this other stuff going on. You were a stunt performer forever. And you've got movies like Fast X, Nope, Black Lightning, The Punisher, Malignant. I know you love Nope, so maybe we'll leave that one to the side, but just working on these like big profile projects, what were some of the highlights with that? And just, which of them were the funnest and which of them were the most challenging, I guess.
You know what? I have my IMDb. I'm looking at it right now because people always ask me questions about jobs, and I'm like, because I've done so many that I forget which ones that I've done. And then after the interview, I look at my IMDb and I'm like, oh, I forgot I did all of those projects too. So I would have to say Wu-Tang. I did Wu-Tang and American Saga. I did an episode of that, and we rode on ATVs on the beach. That was a fun episode. Let's see, Mayor of Kingstown. I did some driving on that show. That was also a fun show. Fast X was interesting because I had my son with me and my son's father. And my son's father doubles everybody. So he doubled on the Fast franchise. He doubles Tyrese and Ludacris, and sometimes The Rock, sometimes who else is on it that he doubles? He doubles a few other people here and there. So he has been working on that franchise for like the last six of those films.
Wow.
I was able to work on this last one, Fast X, with him in Rome, and our son was with us, and he was 4 months old. So that was an interesting job for me because our son would be on set some days. And I remember there being days where his dad is crashing, because his dad does all the like big crashes and things like that. So his dad would be crashing all these cars and stuff, and I'm just holding my son like, oh, look, there's your dad. And then I remember like when I would have to jump in and do some driving, or jump out of the way of a car coming. Sometimes I'd be like, okay, can you just hold my baby real quick? And I'm going to go do this stuff real fast. It should take me, I don't know how many, 30 minutes, I think. I'll be right back. Just protect my baby, stay inside. Don't come outside because there's a lot of stuff going on. So I remember having those moments where I would just hand my son to other stunt performers and be like, I'll be right back. So there was that. And then that also, I did the Deliverance as well, and I had the same situation on the Deliverance where sometimes like we were in Pittsburgh, and apparently the babysitters in Pittsburgh, they're all in school. All of them are in school. So, they'd be like, oh, I can't come today because I have this, or they'd be on their way and they're like, oh, actually I can't because of my class. And I'm like, what? So there's a lot of times where my sitters were unable to sit. So I would have to bring my son to work with me, and he would come to work. And same thing, we'd be in the stunt training room, and they'd be like, all right, Tiff, you're up. And I'd be like, okay, somebody here, take my son. And he was 6 months at the time when I was in Pittsburgh on that film. So I don't know if I answered your question because I've been talking for a while, but I hope I answered.
No, yeah. I mean, so it sounds like the challenging part, but also kind of a fun part of it is just having your son around. I mean,
oh yeah, love him, love him. But, yeah.
And on Fast X, what stunt in particular were you a part of, or which set piece?
In Fast X, I was one of the cars getting out of the way of all of the craziness happening. So, there'd be times where I remember whose characters? Dom and who was my son's father was doubling. I think Tyrese. Oh yeah, he was doubling Tyrese. I remember when Tyrese and Dom were doing a crazy chase in Rome, and I was like one of the cars that had to get out of the way at a particular moment, or they had to like go around, and I had to make sure I don't, F up the the scene. So I did a lot. That's the type of stuff that I did in Fast X, because we need extra cars to, you can't have a film where there's all these chases and there's no danger in the chase. There's got to be other cars that you're just weaving around or getting out of the way in situations like that. So that is mainly what I did on Fast. Yep.
Yeah, and do you, I guess most people like the independent types of sets, but do you have a preference or something you like more, especially as a stunt performer? Do you appreciate the larger studio sets compared to like smaller budgeted sets? Do you feel like you feel more safe on a larger studio set, or is it just all the same to you?
To be honest, it's all the same. Yeah, I would say it's all the same. I mean, of course, the big budget films they're really fun to work on. They have very, 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 very demanding hours, like Fast X. Oh my goodness. I remember being up at like 3 and 4 o'clock to be on set at like 4 or 5 o'clock, and being there for like 12 hours in the hot sun in the middle of the summer in Rome. Those projects have really, really crazy hours, and we're working like 6 days a week, sometimes 7 days a week. So that was tough. That was really tough. But yeah, I mean, they all feel the same to me, to be honest with you, because if somebody's bringing me in on their project, they've got the resources, they've got the stunt coordinators, they have what they need if I'm getting a phone call to, you know what I mean? Like if I'm being able to come in and do something, they've got everything together. Right.
And I imagine that also means that they all hit that standard of safety that is necessary to do this.
Yes. Yes. And like I if for any reason I feel like I've never worked with a stunt coordinator before and I have to call around and ask questions and most people are like, oh yeah, he's great or she's great. That's usually the situation. I haven't really had many, if any, situations where people were like, oh yeah, absolutely do not work for that stunt coordinator. Like I don't think I've had, because that's a thing too. I mean, as much as stunt people are always trying to get hired, you know, just the smart stunt people know like, oh, I haven't heard about this coordinator before. I'm not sure. I don't know. I don't see a bunch of stuff on their IMDb. Let me call around and make sure. So I don't think I've had any situations where I've had to call around and check and make sure a stunt coordinator was legit.
That's good. Yeah, that's definitely good. It helps being comfortable, right?
For sure.
So I feel like you lucked out being able to work on a Jordan Peele movie. Because I love him and I can't speak enough about Nope, but are there other filmmakers that like, that are in the pipeline that you're like, I want to work on one of their projects one day?
You know what? I want to work for Quentin Tarantino. I have never worked for Quentin Tarantino, and I would love to work for Quentin Tarantino. I think he's brilliant. I love his projects. I also would say I would love to work with Ryan Coogler. I'm gonna put that out there in the universe from my mouth to God's ears, hopefully. But I would love to work with Ryan Coogler. I mean, I think he is incredible, and I love the fact that like he started off doing short films. The same way I'm starting off. He started off doing short films. Of course, he went to film school. I did not go to film school, but just the pedigree of work that he's done. I think he is incredible. I think he is so intentional. And when I watch his projects, I always feel something. The characters that have been written for me to hate, I hate them. The characters that have been written for me to feel connected to, I feel connected to them. I think his scripts are top tier, and I think his projects are top tier. So I would love to work with Ryan Coogler.
Yeah, and that just reminds me how amazing Sinners was. I imagine you saw Sinners.
Like 3 times.
Yeah, it was. I made sure to see it on the biggest screen in Illinois. Same. Which, you guys you're around LA.
Yeah, I'm in LA.
Yeah, so I imagine you guys probably have like a really big screen out there too. But I made sure to see it on the biggest screen possible because I think this year.
What did you think?
Oh, I loved it. I thought that I didn't expect the musical element going into it, so I really appreciated that. Especially, and you could tell by the name, The Longest Take, that's the podcast name. I love oneers in movies, like the uncut. And he has such an amazing sequence of that in Sinners, and I feel like it just...
When old girl is walking across the street.
That's one of... I noticed that one, but the other one is...
I love that one. And it's so like... I don't know. Me personally, when I watched it, I just sat back and I mean, there's so many things to sit back and just be in awe about. But that was one thing that probably is like, I don't know, maybe people don't think it's a big deal. But I watched it and I was like, oh my gosh, this wonder is incredible. Like, you know why I liked it so much? I liked it because like it really made me feel grounded in the story. It made me feel like I was like witnessing this and not sitting in the movie watching it. Like I felt like I was witnessing this happen.
Like you're following the character, right?
Yes. I thought it was so smart and I wasn't expecting it. I think that's another thing too. I wasn't expecting it. So when I saw it, I was like, oh, I like it. And then as a filmmaker myself, I was looking at it like, okay, Ryan, like...
Yeah, and you know what?
Trying to pull up a oneer. Okay.
There was a longer oneer later in the movie, the music sequence where it was spoiler alert. Where it goes through the different.
Gonna talk about that one because that's the scene that everybody.
Oh yeah.
So, but we can talk about it.
Because I loved it, and just the way how it goes through like the you know, the different eras of music and everything, while it's just kind of like navigating the.
It was insane. Like that wonder, that whole scene, like the way I had chills, like my body, like I just had chills watching it. And I was like, man, this dude is like, but he really knows how to utilize music, and which I love and appreciate. And that's something like I love music in my film Jules. If we ever get to see it online, something that was really, really important to me was the music and the score. And I really love the music in my projects. For me, music is its own character. Hi, baby. So I appreciate it when I see and will hear that in other people's projects, that it feels like the music is its own character.
Yeah, 100%. And it's funny because it's like you think it's going to be this big vampire flick, but it's just so many other things. He offers in all of his movies, in both Black Panthers, Fruitvale Station, Creed. There's always something. Like he offers so many different layers to what you would think is just like a formulaic story. Like Creed, it's a Rocky sequel-ish thing, but it's just so much more. And I love that.
It is, and the way that he can even put all of that into one film is crazy. Like even like when he had the Native Americans who came to warn the couple, and they were like, you know what, we're gonna peace out. Good luck. I was like, this scene is so real. Like they didn't stand around and try to convince them or try to talk. Like they were like, oh, sun's coming up. We tried. You ain't trying to hear us. Good luck with your situation. We're out. We gotta go home.
Yeah, that was so funny. And
it was so funny. It was so real, and it was shot so beautifully. Like those middle, those horses. Oh my goodness.
And I think that honestly, I would love either like a movie or even like a novel just following that group, because like obviously they're hunters, right? They're trying to, you know, take down vampires, and they almost got this one. If you saw his condition when he went there, and I think that world building is something that Ryan Coogler has been excellent at in everything he's done, at least IP related. So yeah, no surprises there. Sinners, I need to go watch it again. I can't wait till it's
same.
out.
Like even talking to you right now, I'm like, wait, I feel like I need to go see this film again. I'm sure I will, because it's just so good, and it's such a refreshing piece of art too, because I just feel like I can't even remember the last time that I was this excited to see something in theaters. And I'm a theater person, not theater like I did theater, but I love to go to the movie. Like I'm an AMC Stubs girly. And I like to go see my movies every week if I can. So I love going to the movie theaters. So I just appreciate the fact that he made something that like I wanted to see multiple times.
And on the biggest screen, the best sound, you know, he capitalized on that IMAX filming. And it's, you said AMC Stubs. So only for like 2 years, I started working at AMC when they implemented the Stubs program.
Oh, nice.
And it left a bad taste in my mouth because they were so aggressive about us like pushing it to get subscribers. Like people were like, they were just firing people if you didn't reach like a certain quota.
How are you guys supposed to get them subscribers?
It was like, so every time someone comes up to the box office, it's like, oh, do you want to join the Stubs program?
You have to upsell them.
Okay. $12 up front, good for the whole year. Every $100 you spend, you get $10 back. That's how it was back then.
Oh, it's not like that no more, but it's still a great. I mean, I saw recently that they have it's a $5 Wednesdays or something like that.
Yeah, I saw that too. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, they're trying to get people to come back to the movies, which I'm like, yes, please, because I love going to the movies. Like it's my favorite thing. It's literally one of my favorite things to do since I was a child.
Yeah, I mean, that's something that I'd go to the movies by myself, like most of the time. It's like,
oh yeah, I do too. I mean, now I take my son with me. He sees a lot of things probably he shouldn't be seeing. But but he likes to go to the movies too, because the funniest thing, he'll be like, Mommy, can we go see Jules today? Like randomly. And I'm like, baby, because he's so used to seeing it in theaters because it's been in so many festivals. And I'm like, baby, that's not how this works. Like, we can't just go see Jules. So, but it's cute that he thinks that we can go see Jules whenever we want to.
Yeah. That's the best thing for your kid to be like your number one fan, basically, of your project. That probably feels awesome that he watch it.
Yeah, no, he's actually in Jules too, so he might
really?
just be wanting to.
Yeah, that's probably it. Yeah, you're right.
He likes seeing himself on the big screen.
Yeah. So my last question I have here, I like to bookend all of my interviews like this, but where do you see yourself in 5 years? Whether professionally or personally?
Yeah, so personally, personally, I feel like for me, there's a thin line between personal and professional. I think everything is kind of in its own, it's intertwined. But professionally, sorry, my son is clanging his bike right now. Professionally, I see myself in 5 years. Wow. I will have completed my first feature and it will have been in theaters. Hopefully 5 years, I feel like I can do 2 features in 5 years. So maybe 2 features in 5 years. But I feel like within the next 5 years, I can accomplish a lot of the goals that I have set for myself in terms of directing and what I want to see in theaters. I want to see more women doing action, particularly women who look like me. So hopefully I, can have an impact on that. In 5 years, I would have liked to have won an Oscar for action design. Okay, baby, give me a minute. Bookending it right now. And in 5 years, my son will be 8 years old. Wow, that's crazy to even think about. My baby will be 8 in 5 years. But I just, I hope that he is still loving and enjoying life and, we get to spend a lot of time together still. And I pray that, within the next 5 years, I want him to be my DP. I want him to work with me. So I'm hoping that within 5 years, he could be like, on set with me, not just being there, but like actually helping me, like giving me his thoughts and what he likes and what he doesn't like and things like that. So yeah, that's why I see myself being very successful in this space in the next 5 years.
Yeah, and I mean, for sure, I'm going to be looking out for that. I can't wait. Especially hearing that Jules is going to be a feature. I mean, I would love to be able to go to the movies and see another motocross movie that isn't like a really cheaply made like 2000s.
Yeah, because I feel like there hasn't been any.
Yeah, like so The Place Beyond the Pines, that Ryan Gosling movie from probably like 10 years ago. He robs banks and then he pieces out on a dirt bike. He's got a dirt bike in that.
Okay.
But like I would have to sit here and rack my brain to try to think about movies that actually utilize dirt bikes. So to take it a step further and have it like in the races and everything, like I think that that's gonna be great.
It's so different. But you know what I will say, just from my own experience being on different sets, there's a lot of dirt bikes that are actually being used that are decorated to look like street bikes.
Oh, do they do that because the tires, the traction is a lot better with the dirt bike compared to a street bike?
Dirt bikes are a lot lighter and they're able to do jumps. And so when you see these street bikes doing these big jumps and stuff, it's probably a dirt bike that they dress to look like a street bike.
That makes sense. It's cool to see behind the curtain with that,
Yeah, so there's a lot of dirt bikes that you don't know that you've actually seen that you've seen. I know in Venom, at least the first one, it was a dirt bike that they dressed like a street bike.
That makes sense. I think I could, if I were to watch it now, I could probably see that. Because I know he does a really big jump with it. He's cruising all around. Yeah.
In San Francisco. I think that was in San Francisco. Yeah, that was in San Francisco.
Yeah. But that's awesome. For that second feature that you're thinking of, do you have ideas? Like,
oh, so many. Too many.
So Shouldn't be a problem to just go
Oh,
from one
baby.
feature to another.
Listen, I literally am sleeping at night, and all of a sudden I wake up like, okay, I gotta write this down. Like that's how it's insane. I drive down the highway, and I'm like, oh my gosh, a whole movie flashes in my head, and I'm like, oh my gosh, I have to pull over and write this stuff down.
Yeah,
So that's how it goes for me. So I've got a lot of ideas.
Are you like within like a similar genre, or are you like you get ideas for like everything?
I mainly get ideas for action. I have a couple of like horror ideas too, but to be honest with you, after doing The Deliverance, I'm not sure I want to be on a horror set again.
Why? What was up with the set that made you not?
That set was possessed.
Oh,
Like
uh-oh.
that set was literally possessed. Like nobody could tell me that there wasn't something going on that set for sure.
And that was that Netflix movie, right?
Yeah, that movie was insane. Like working on that project, like, and that's the project, one of the projects that I brought my son up to work sometimes. And I doubled Andra Day in that film, and she was good Ebony and bad Ebony. So when she was good Ebony, I'd be bad Ebony and vice versa. And I remember having the bad Ebony makeup on, like holding my son on set. And I was just like, this is crazy. So I don't know. The horror stuff is, and then that's based off a true story as well. So it's, and everybody was like, oh, look, you should watch the documentary. I'm like, I don't want to watch a documentary because I might not want to do the film if I watch the documentary, because it just looked, from what people were saying, it sounded really, really intense and scary. So I don't know. I have horror ideas, but I'm not sure if I could actually take my mind there and my spirit there to complete it, because it's not just like, oh, you're on set, you film it. It's a lot of, you have to write the script, you have to go into a lot of character depth and all of these things that I don't know that I want to go into all like those places.
Right.
So
yeah, that's fair. I will say that people who are familiar with action, doing action movies, when they jump into the horror space, they usually do a pretty kick-ass job. I saw Malignant on your IMDb, if you remember much about that project, but James Wan is someone who you'll see him create really excellent set pieces for his horror movies. And I think, you know, even someone like yourself who's like really into action, if you ever do horror, it's going to be great. I just know it already.
That film freaked me out too. I forgot about Malignant.
What were you on that one?
Malignant freak. I doubled McCole White. So I think she was a cop or something in that film, but she had to fight the thing. And I remember like rehearsing the fight for that project and being on set and rehearsing. But I had never fought it with the mask on. Not it, but the person who was the thing or whatever. I never fought it with the mask on. So I remember when I was on set and we were ready to do a take. And it was like 4:00 in the morning. Like when we did I want to say it was like 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning when we did our first take of the fight. And I remember being on set and we were not facing each other. So I still hadn't seen that mask. And I want to say they were like hiding it on set, because some projects, like they hide certain things. Like I've done car commercials where they will hide the car until the very last second. So I remember we were not face to face. Our fight started with me looking in one direction and him looking in a different direction behind me. And I remember the director yelled action, and I turned around to do my first move on the thing, and I saw the mask for the first time. And I remember almost stopping because I was so I almost stopped because I was in my mind, I was like, what the fuck is that? Because I had not seen this thing. And I just remember being like so scared and so frightened. And then I had to like click back in because I know I paused. Like that first take, I know I like when I went, like I think I had like a machete or something in my hand. Something, but I remember putting my hand up to like throw a punch or a slice or something, and I remember seeing a thing, and I think my hand just kind of froze in the air, and I don't think it ever came down to do the slice for a good like 2 seconds, which is a long time
Hmm.
when you're supposed to be doing fight choreography. So I wish that we would have rehearsed with the mask on, so I wouldn't have gotten on set and seen it. But I was freaked out. And then when they had the girl come in who was doing all the like contortion stuff, oh, she freaked me out too. That was another one. I see. I don't know about horror for me. I don't know if I can make it.
Oh man, but I'm telling you, if you did, it would be fantastic. It would be at that level. And I think at least one of the fight sequences in Malignant, it was a oneer. It wasn't that long, but it had that like.
Oh my goodness, that I watched that. 'Cause I wasn't in that. No, I wasn't in it, but I was there and I was watching them rehearse it and I watched them do it and I was like, this is crazy. Yeah, the way that they shot that was everybody had to be the camera guy, all the fighter, like all the people who were fighting, all the stunt performers, everybody had to be on point. You could not miss a beat at all. So I have hats off to all the stunt performers who were in that sequence and the camera guys who were like doing their thing. Like hats off to everybody. I remember that and I remember sitting there like in awe. It was just incredible to watch in person.
Yeah, yeah. I'm gonna go back all these movies that we're discussing. I'm gonna go and rewatch all of these.
Me too.
Because they're really great. But
Yeah.
yeah, so this space here at the end kind of gives you the floor again, but to plug anything that you got going on, any of your social accounts, just any last things that you want to kind of plug into this.
Sure. So if you're in LA and you want to see Jules, we are actually screening June 7th at IndieX Film Festival. And I don't remember what block or what time we're in, but if you go on indiex.com, you can see the project and when we screen. You can also follow me on Instagram, Tiffy Stunts, TIFFYSTUNTS. I post things about filmmaking on there. I post stunt related things on there. I post about my project Jules on there. I actually have the trailer of Jules on my Instagram. And yeah, just keep an eye out because I am working really hard to turn this into a feature, and it has not been an easy process, and I'm sure it's going to continue to not be an easy process. So yeah, all of the support that I can get in this situation would be super helpful and very much appreciated.
Awesome. Thank you for joining me today, Tiffany. It was great talking with you.
Thanks, you too. Thanks for having me.